This week, we pack up from James' campsite and trek south through the mountains, climbing, winding and descending our way towards Starglen Lodge. Join us for part 4 of our 5-part adventure, exploring the best of the Strathbogie Ranges and beyond.
So yesterday morning we left James Reserve, lovely little camp spot, right beside the road, right beside the river.
It was a lovely open night, but typically what comes with that is a nice heavy dew. So we stood around and had a coffee and warmed up for a few minutes before packing up. Everything naturally is still a little bit damp, so there'll be plenty of unpacking to do when we get home to make sure everything's got an opportunity to dry out.
You're just surrounded entirely by bush and the access road, which is really great. Had a great night's sleep, up early, good breakfast, and our next destination was Starglen Lodge.
Obviously it was a bit of a slow trek. We did have the campers on board, pretty rough terrain in some sections.
Now most all drivers know to let the tyres down on their vehicle when they head off-road, but it's critical that you let the tyres down on your trailer as well. Now it gives you all the added benefits of what you get with your four-wheel drive. Letting the tyre down means it's less susceptible to damage. Letting the tyre down means it has more traction. Now whilst the tyre isn't a driving force on the trailer, lateral traction and grip on the terrain is still critical. Similarly, when you get back on the bitumen, pump the tyres back up for a more efficient towing experience. Snowy, I noticed the other day you had a good look over the Tanami X15. What are your thoughts on it?
I actually don't mind it. For the scenario that myself and my family are looking at, it would suit us to a T. I quite liked the rear fold bed. The outdoor kitchen is one of the things that my wife and I are looking at. A nice big space for a fridge. I actually really like the electric awning. Saves a lot of heartache that I've had in the past with others as well.
In between the transit, we come across this fairly technical section.
The track was a bit more tricky than we expected. We came to a spot that we didn't expect to see, very muddy bog hole. The Clearview vehicle with the caravan on the back got stuck.
I was under the impression that we were going to do quite a few Ks along main roads, so I never bothered to head down. And of course that brought me undone when we got into the slippery stuff. I got the tyre spider out, aired the tyres down, and once I did that, we started to get it moving, and Simon hooked a snatch strap on the back of the caravan, and that just secured we were out.
All right, Mike, nice and gentle. I'm just going to take up the slack and just give you a gentle pull, see how we go.
I went to take off up the hill, not realising that someone had stitched me up and put me back in two-wheel drive, which made it very interesting for the camera and the camera crew, hazing them all in mud, a bit like a barger truck. But once I was committed, so I had to go for it. I don't think the camera crew were that happy about it. One of them wearing a fair bit of mud. I think he's a bit sour on me still.
We continued on, and it was just a sensational drive through the forest. There was a lot of steep bits, some tricky corners, it was loose in places, and then we find some bog holes along the way as well.
Just heading into a nice series of erosion banks on a steady climb upwards. We're in low range. Giving each other just enough breathing distance to be safe.
We had one spot where there was a tree over.
Simon was lucky enough in the Iveco with his big wheels and plenty of ground clearance that he could actually travel over the log. So once that was done, we took a bit more vision of what was there and figured that a little bit of a tree down is not worth damaging vans or anything like that. So in the end, the chainsaws come out again, tidied up the end of the log. We did a little bit of clearing and everyone chips in as they do. And once we'd made enough room, Mike and their Austrac van and then Mark with the smaller Austrac trailer, they were able to get around the end of that log as well as the rest of the convoy without fear of picking up the end of the log and damaging a vehicle or a trailer.
The rest of the transit was fairly straightforward, beautiful views, and we sort of crested from the western side of the Strathbogies over the ranges.
Whoa, bit of sideways going on with the caravan.
Remind me of my speedway days. And I looked in the left-hand mirror, and here's the caravan, and she's off grinding its own path. It was pretty slippery, pretty slippery.
I noticed both yours and my caravan split out a little bit back there, Mike. What's the plan when they slip out a bit like that?
You hope that gravity doesn't take over completely, Simon.
Coming down the descent with a clayey surface, we'd had rain here quite a bit and it was fairly slippery. In one scary moment where the Clearview vehicle with the caravan, the caravan actually slid sideways into a ditch. We had no issue. It was really a testament to the electric braking on the caravans.
So we took it nice and easy, low range, low gear, diff lockers in, just making sure we gave plenty of space between the vehicles.
The key thing was just to engage a nice low gear, let the vehicle do the braking, take it easy, we weren't in any rush.
Coming down along the ridge lines, you started seeing civilization again.
As we got closer to Starglen Lodge, the first thing I noticed is that the weather patterns must be a little bit different here because it's significantly drier here compared to Oz Camp.
This area has notoriously been in drought for nearly 10 years. It came out of drought about 2 years ago, and it is now lush and green.
I just love this time of year, and I love this time of year in this area because everything's green, the grass is just starting to get a bit of a grow going.
This time of the year, early spring, when we've just come out of the winter rains, the countryside is just looking amazing.
You could certainly say that we've got a man on the inside, Evan. He frequents this place 2 to 4 times a year.
So I'm pretty familiar with Starglen Lodge. I spend a fair bit of time up here throughout the year, generally going motorbike riding with family and friends.
It's just a fantastic place to come with a four-wheel drive, let alone a motorbike. I can see on a motorbike you could run amok here and have a lot of fun.
Starglen Lodge is a place where families and anyone can come who rides dirt bikes without licence or registration.
This area here, wildlife, there's deer, there's wombats walking around. It's beautiful. I've got to coin the phrase from the old movie, oh, the serenity. It is just beautiful.
This area is quite famous for people coming in doing four-wheel driving. You're nestled not too far from Mansfield, Bonnie Doon. You're in the back hills here in the Strathbogie.
It's a great family-orientated place where there's many things to do. We have a fully operational kitchen and bar, and we have cabins here as well, and we can host up to 120 people.
It's like a little Eden here. It's just magnificent. I know there's no motorbikes and everything roaring around at the moment, but there was certainly plenty of four-wheel drives yesterday.
We're 500 acres and we also back onto the Strathbogie State Forest.
Due to knowing the area fairly well, I suggested that when we got here that we went up and had a look at the viewpoint up at the top of the hill.
It's quite a very steep climb out of the camp, low range, first and second year. Nothing too tricky. Unfortunately, the tracks are fairly dry.
Some of the switchbacks, when you're looking back up at the start of the convoy, I was tailing Charlie for our transit out, and just looking up the hill and seeing all the cars slowly climbing up, that's always a cool look when you're moving along.
We got up to about 813 metres.
This would be a great spot for novice four-wheel drivers. Nothing super hard, but enough to make you think. And it'd be a good spot for the beginners to start learning what their cars are like, what their capabilities are.
The private trails of Starglen offer direct access to the Strathbogie State Forest, and it's not long until we're back on Ferraris Road and searching for wild dog rocks. A task that would prove harder than we expected, but boasting stunning views of the valley back to Bonnie Doon, the search would be worth it.
We doubled back to look for a turn-off towards what they call Wild Dog Rocks. It does take some getting to, and the tracks aren't maintained, but we managed to squeeze the convoy down the tracks.
Wasn't hard, but it was a little bit tight at times.
And from the afternoon tea spot, the car park, we were able to, on foot, head towards the Wild Dog Rocks lookout.
And finally you get to the final rock outcrop and you've got this beautiful view over the valley towards Mansfield, Bonnie Doon, and you can see Lake Yield in the distance.
Breathtaking views, almost full 360 degree. So we all took our photo opportunities. I think we probably spent a quarter of an hour up there just talking and taking it all in. It was wonderful.
Had a bit of afternoon tea and then back to camp, back down through the forest.
And some of those slow hill climbs, which is all low range work, relatively skatey in some areas with a bit of rocks. Going a little bit slower in convoy with low range gives you an opportunity, and safely to do so, to turn around and take in some of the scenic views. The bogies just keep on giving to us. It was fantastic.
And it was a really steep descent down to the bottom. You could see the Starglen Lodge way down in the distance.
Later on in the night, we decided to go for a bit of a night drive, test out the Narva driving lights. It was awesome. Just so much light. We were able to see everything.
Not surprising with Evan's personality. He's a little bit of an instigator and wanted to go for a bit of a night drive. So he rustled a few troops and a few cars, and they went out for a bit of a poke around to maybe have a look in the bottom for a little bit of mud. And it also gave him, being, you know, from Narva and in a Narva vehicle, the best opportunity to get plenty of the driving lights out.
There was a nice rutted out section. One of the cars got stuck, made for some good viewing, that's for sure.
Bugger. Double dipped. Probably gonna need a winch, Simon.
So we hit the end of the track, made our way through after doing a couple of recoveries with some of the vehicles, only to find that was a big tree across the track. So unfortunately we weren't able to continue on.
A couple of tricky little tracks, very wet, very muddy. One or two of the vehicles got hung up. I know even Simon had a bit of difficulty getting up one of the climbs. We came back towards the camp, and there's a nice little section where they do a lot of bike tracks. They've got a lot of obstacles. So it was really good for the guys to have just a little bit of a play and just experiment with their vehicles and see the capability. And of course, Simon in the Iveco did something a bit more extreme. One or two of the guys got hung up on some of the bike jumps. I don't think the bike jumps are designed for four-wheel drive vehicles, but it was good fun all around.
Mounted his chassis rails on top of the jump and was trying to tackle things that his car wasn't capable of, but it made for some good viewing.
That's why you have chassis rails.
I had a bit of a play over in the backyard here, and a little bit of fun before they wrapped it up for the night.
Well done, Daniel.
With a new day kicking off at Starglen Lodge, we were refreshed, ready to hit the trails and up for a little horsing around.
Hey James, hold your hand flat, fingers down. I won't kick you, come on.
Ah! Yeah,
fingers down.
I don't like the whole, he ate my fingers. So you don't put your hand in their mouth. I didn't, he ate my hand.
As relaxing as it was, we were here to get the engines revving. And to warm things up, the locals had brought a few toys of their own and had a bit of a show ready to roll.
Starglen, amazing motorbike tracks up in the back hills. That took us up to have a little bit of adventure and see what's up there.
They've got their own property with their own tracks, but it borders on the state forest, so you can easily transit from doing the tracks on their property, go through a gate, the whole state forest opens up to you. Plenty of tracks up there.
Absolutely incredible place if you wanted to bring your kids here and teach them how to ride a little two-stroke bike. They're Pee-wee 50s. There's a little track right out the back of the accommodation.
Hey Nick, we'd like to say thanks for having us here at Starglen.
Thank you very much, Simon. It's been a pleasure.
We've had an awesome time, mate. There is so much to see and do in and around the Strathbogies, and water is a major attraction. So before the fun at Starglen continues, let's take a quick look at the popular and beautiful Poly McQuinns Weir.
We went and visited a really old weir, awesome scenery around there, lots of nice natural rock areas.
Poly McQuinns Weir. It's a bit of a mouthful. There's a nice little parking spot up there and you can walk down over these massive boulders and the water's just rolling over them.
It was beautiful for us. There was a couple other people up there sitting having picnics. We managed to walk down and have a look at it.
Great to see so many people out there really enjoying it. A lot of young kids running around playing in the water. It was really great.
Really nice area for people to visit. I'll definitely be taking the family back when I get the opportunity.
One of the most important things to keep your fridges running efficiently and effectively is power. Now we're running the Clearview Accessories drop slides here. We've got twin Coleman fridges, and these spring-loaded hooks at the back are really important when you're running a fridge slide to keep your power cord up and out of the way when the fridge slide is going in and out. So maintain your power, make sure you've got good quality system like a Piranha dual battery system that we've got, and ensure that your power cords are kept up and out of the way when you've got fridge slides. With another water feature done, it was time to get the rigs dirty back at Starglen. And our hosts had the perfect track for a perfect little play.
The crab walker, look at him go.
Ooh, crossed up.
Alright, let's have a crack. More sloppy mud.
Windows up. Pretty slippery through this section. Just got to keep some pace. Front's in.
It's pretty cool here. Some of those tracks, obviously a lot of motorcycle orientated, but there's still plenty for four-wheel drivers.
Bell plater.
Jeez.
You wouldn't do this to your own Alex, would you?
And remember to put your window up. And I've got a big chunk of mud right in my lap. That was a hello idiot moment. That was cool.
That was pretty cool. Very well done. Giving myself a bit of a pump up there.
Thank you very much Forward Drive TV for coming out here and having a look around. It's been great having you guys here. We hope you enjoyed yourselves and we hope to see you guys again.
How cool was that?
That was fun.
We've had a ball at Starglen, but there's still more of the Strathbogies to explore, and we're running out of time. Join us next week for a very special episode, as we've saved the best till last.